Hey, it's Anathea here, your Divine Feminine Educator. And what I'm going to be talking about today are the 7 common intimacy issues and what you need to know. I feel like I'm like smushed in the screen here. Let me move it out a little bit so I'm not like right up in your face. Intimacy. Into me I see. You can only share with another as much as you are actually connected to yourself. Now, I don't know, do you really realize that? This is a journey, intimacy is really a journey of going inward, understanding who you are, and sharing that part of you. When we get together in relationship, there's a lot of games that we play, but it's not so much because it's intentional. It's because we haven't been role modeled anything different. And so, the journey of love and intimacy is really the unveiling of all of the conditioning and programming that keep you separate from another. But the way that you do that is by letting go of all the conditioning and programming that keeps you from being vulnerable. And this is, I was just talking to another woman just the other day, and I can so relate to this. We think of vulnerability as something that's weak. But actually, that's only because we see things as black and white. We see things as either we're open or we're shut down. But what about being open in our vulnerability, but using the power of our heart? And so we have healthy things like we can speak our truth without putting the other person on the defensive, which most people don't even know how to do that. You speak your truth, you blurt something out, and you actually hurt another person, not really intentionally. You just don't have any other way to really speak it. You know what I notice when I get live? I just get really excited. I've got to calm down so that I can get my words out clearly to you. But this thing, let me get back to this thing of vulnerability. We only know being open or being shut down. We live in such a black and white world. We live in a Democrat Republican world, right? We need all of us, as you can see with all the polarity that's going on. We need to learn how to meet in the middle. So, for example, that's really learning how to be vulnerable in your power. Oh my God, what the heck does that mean? I know when that used to be really foreign to me, and I've worked really hard to be able to be vulnerable and protect myself at the same time. Be vulnerable, but have it be my strength. And that's a journey. You need new tools. You need new ways of communication. You need new ways to being with your emotions. You need new ways to navigate in the bedroom if you want to be truly vulnerable and not get stomped on. Truly vulnerable and have it create the intimacy that you're really probably longing for. So let's talk about the 7 most common intimacy issues that women are challenged with. I want to mention though, because I'm going to mention it twice, I am so excited. Today I am starting my 6-week live online course called Manifesting More Pleasure. And this is a course that I've taught a few times. I taught it 1 year in my yurt. I've taught it once, I think, in Mexico, and then I've taught it online, I think, a couple of times. But I've been blogging a lot and writing a lot, and so I kind of wasn't doing online classes, and now I have 14 women enrolled. We're going to be coming together in circle. There's still time for you to jump in, and we are going to be talking about pleasure because boy, oh boy, we've had plenty of pain. And if we want to move into a better future, the way that we're going to do that is by focusing on pleasure. Not ignoring the pain, but holding the pain in love so that we can get through to the pleasure. You can't get through to pleasure without actually addressing the pain. But there's ways to do that. And we're going to be taking a beautiful journey of manifesting more pleasure. It's a 6-week online course. We're going to be talking about all kinds of really great things. We're going to talk about the history of where we came from as women and the violent history that we have that's seated in our DNA. We're going to be talking about your grandmother, your great-grandmother, and the energy that comes before you. and how you can make changes so the energy that comes after you, your children and their grandchildren, have a better future. This is so important right now. What else are we going to be talking about in the course? We're going to be talking about vibrational nourishment, outer course as opposed to inner course. We're going to be talking about a healing modality that you can bring into the bedroom to bring more intimacy and more understanding between the sexes, because a man's sexuality, the male body and his sexuality, is completely different than the female body and her sexuality. You know, one's an innie, one's an outie, so they're going to be, it's a polar opposite. You see, we were actually built that way, and what we have to all learn is how to meet in the middle. But our society has been so masculine driven, focused, go for it, go for the big O, that the feminine sexuality has been hidden. And so in this Manifesting More Pleasure class, what I'm going to be teaching is how to teach you how to awaken your feminine sexuality, how to honor your feminine sexuality, that more healing, subtle energy. Because your body, your female body, has unlimited pleasure potential. So check out the link. It's in this video. Check out the link for Manifesting More Pleasure. I'm starting it at 4 p.m. today if you want to jump on. Otherwise, you'll see it and you can take my love quiz and you'll be linked in with me, and I'll let you know when the next one is, or just see what's on that page if you see this video after the fact. All right. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be beautiful. It's one of my most fun classes to teach, and I feel that the women really feel nurtured and cared for. And that's what we all need. We all need it. But I think that the female body, or women, are really the leaders of love. And as we nurture ourselves, it's literally an energetic. When we move more towards pleasure in our lives and know how to do it even, we radiate a whole different frequency. We emanate a whole different way of navigating in the world. And so not only do you benefit in your life, the whole community does. You know, they've done studies when they improve a woman's life, the community benefits. Like when they give women more money or more income, the community benefits. There was some study, I don't have the link to it. When you give men more money, you know, it doesn't make that much difference. I mean, this was actually a study that was done. So investing in women is really good, and you as a woman investing in yourself is profound. So you have an opportunity to do it. Check out that link. All right, what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about the 7 most common intimacy issues that women have in the bedroom. Number 1, not getting your needs met, therefore avoiding sex. Woo! Like I said, this is a big one. You know, masculine energy is a force to be reckoned with. Masculine energy is assertive. Feminine energy is not. And so here we have a male, let's just say it's in a heterosexual situation, we have a male body and a female body in the bedroom. Of course, there's going to be, the masculine energy is going to be inherently more prevalent. Now, not only inside the bedroom, but we are living in a world that is in a masculine-oriented orientation, right? And so, of course, going for the big O, making things happen, pressure to perform, all of that stuff plays out in the bedroom. And basically what happens is you miss the bliss. So the problem is that because a woman doesn't come in with her sexual confidence and awareness of her own feminine sexual potential, that she can't represent it well in the bedroom. And so it just becomes this thing of getting each other off, and that's it. Or maybe one person gets off, the other one doesn't. I'll be talking about that in a minute. So that's a common one, not getting your needs met. Maybe you don't even know your needs, right? That's part of what this course, Manifesting More Pleasure, will help you do. Number 2, yearning for and struggling with how to create a deeper, more authentic and heart-centered connection in your relationship. See, this is a matter of sexual energetics. Women come into, this is generalities, but really it's a sexual energetic. On a tantric level, men's hearts are more vulnerable than their genitals, and women's genitals are more vulnerable than their hearts. You see, women's genitals, I mean, we can get pregnant and be stuck with, not stuck, but we could get raped and pregnant, we could get stuck with pregnancy and not have the man around. Our genitals are much more sensitive. So our genitals are more vulnerable and men's hearts are more vulnerable. But this is what's interesting is when we start a relationship, we go into a relationship, a woman goes into a relationship with her heart wide open and her genitals protected, right? And a man comes into the relationship with his genitals all open and his heart protected. So this is about learning how to bring a man's genital energy up to his heart, and I teach that. So that's a beautiful thing that a woman can help a man with by being sensitive and vulnerable to the fact that your man, his heart is vulnerable. But women, we get real masculine and stomp all over it, for various reasons. But men, you need to know that our hearts are open and our genitals are very vulnerable, so they don't need to be manhandled. And and my teacher told me this. She said, we need to teach our men that the point of entry is not down there. The point of entry is at our hearts. See, this is all a lot of education. We didn't get the sex education that we needed in high school. And boy, oh boy, lots of the education that we got in being in a relationship has been like horrendous and heart-wrenching, right? Learning the hard way. Okay, number 3, wishing to feel more confident about speaking to your partner about sex. A lot of couples, maybe it's not you, maybe it is, a lot of couples have a sexual relationship and can never talk about sex outside the bedroom, let alone during sex. So it's just kind of a lot of guesswork. Your sexual life will only be as good as you can communicate. So if you can't communicate about sex, there's various reasons why, and it's not it's basically almost normal. A lot of couples have this situation. A lot don't, but a lot do. And so your sex is only going to be as good as your communication. So if you up your ability to feel comfortable about talking about sex, about talking about your sexuality, about talking about sex with your partner, you're going to increase your pleasure potential. Number 4 for intimacy issues, wondering if this is as good as it gets. So, I've heard it a lot. Women just when they're younger, getting virginized in their first sexual experience. It's unfortunate, and I know my first sexual experience, I was told I had multiple orgasms. Thank goodness at that young age I knew better. I didn't have any. I didn't have a one in my first sexual experience. And actually for many years later I didn't. I had to teach myself. So I hope I'm not being too vulnerable here with that. But it's so common. It's so common, the first sexual experience that you have. We just weren't taught. We weren't educated. So you think sex is going to be some kind of natural thing that we're good at it. No. It's like yoga. You have to practice. So yes, it can get better, but it's not going to be handed to you. You have to learn. You have to learn the arts of intimacy. You have to learn how to get out of your head and be in your body. You have to learn how to open your heart and set healthy boundaries and know what's right for you and what's wrong for you and communicate the types of touches that you want to have. You need to know the types of touches that you want to have. Okay, so that is number what? Wondering, number 4. Number 5 is thinking something is wrong with your sexuality. This is where my heart goes out to many, many women and even men. I want you to know everybody is sexually dysfunctional. That's just across the board because we just don't have the sexual education or the sexual consciousness or the sexual awareness in our society. We have porn, right? That's the norm. We have so far to go in our evolution. And so if you really want to wake up in the area of the bedroom or sexuality or your relationship with your sexuality, it's not just going to happen. You're not going to get it under standard education or just reading a book. Well, you're going to learn stuff from books, but that's why I'm doing this Manifesting More Pleasure course, and then I'm going to be teaching Sex Ed You Didn't Learn from Your Mother. But you have to be in some kind of dialogue. It's through talking about sex with other people and sharing and understanding and having somebody that's been there and learned. I was 2 years in a mystery school where I learned and I did sexual healings. I looked at my own sexuality. We learned a lot about sex between the masculine and the feminine, and it was profound. It was life transforming. I've been teaching this stuff ever since. Your sexual energy is your spiritual energy. It's the energy that will illuminate you and wake you up. It's the spark that creates a whole other human being. It's the spark of your full human potential, but we keep it repressed and packed down at the bottom of our body. You need to move it up through your heart and bring it out into the world through your animation, through your creative expression, through your love. You put that sexual energy and mix it with love, and it creates this whole beautiful alchemical transformation in your life. Do you know how to do that? All right. There's nothing wrong with your sexuality. It's just that you haven't had an opportunity to access the full potential of it. So what I wanted to say about number 5, thinking something is wrong with your sexuality, there's nothing wrong with your sexuality. There's everything right with your sexuality. It's super powerful. You just need to learn access to it. You need to be supported on understanding that your sexuality is as unique as you. You know, your sexuality and your sexual expression is as unique as your fingerprint. And so there is no norm. You are unique. And there's nothing wrong with your sexuality. There's a large percentage of women that go into counseling, and that's and sexual counseling. And one of the biggest things that they say is, you know, I think there's something wrong with me. It's because you're measuring your sexuality from a masculine point of view. You need to measure your sexuality from you and your point of view and what's right for you and what makes your body open and feel safe to open to experience pleasure. If your body is shutting down, there's a reason for it. Your body is wiser than you can ever imagine. Okay, so that's number 5. Number 6, another common intimacy issue is faking orgasms. So apparently men will even fake orgasms. We all have, vulnerability issues, intimacy issues, being authentic issues. But I want to just say this to the women and men, if you have this issue as well, is if you fake an orgasm, what you are actually doing is you are confusing your sexual response system. So this is not good. And if you've done it before, that's okay, but please, I want you to commit to not doing that anymore and work on being more authentic in your intimate relationship. No more faking. Number 7, obligated or pressured sexual duty. Obligated to have sex. Thinking it's your duty as a partner to have sex. There's a lot to be said under that, and it really breaks my heart. Last time I taught the Manifesting More Pleasure course, there were older women, there were younger women, all different generations, and I was still really amazed and shocked how a lot of the younger women still felt very obligated and were under the pressure of sexual duty. Men, your sexuality and your sexual gratification is not our responsibility. It's your responsibility. We're here to come together to really become each other's healers, not each other's wounders, or be responsible for somebody else's gratification. Whoo! Ooh, that's a whole big subject. So I want you to, this is a more private subject too. And so I'm just speaking out here on Facebook and YouTube about this matter. But this is a very private dialogue, and that's why my videos don't get shared that much, because people are like, it's vulnerable to share. But please do share my videos. Share them out. Get this word out, because if we're going to move forward into a better world, the only way that that's going to happen is by letting go of our fear and moving towards love, letting go of the pain and moving towards pleasure. But a lot of us don't even know really how do we do that. I give you the how-tos, and I make it fun. So check out these links. I have 3 links in here on this connected to this video. One is the full article on these 7 common intimacy issues. I write up a lot more on that. So please read that article, even comment or share it. The other one is the Manifesting More Pleasure course. If you're ready, jump on board right now. It starts today. If you're not, then just take my love quiz. You'll be in connection with me. You'll be in my email list. You'll get emails, and you'll know when the next one's coming. And the next one might be sex education you didn't learn from your mom. I'm just going to see what the group wants and see where we're going to move forward. Because it might be manifesting, it might be mastering your emotions. Because I think that's what people need right now also, is we're moving through a time right now where all of our stuff is bubbling up. We used to live in a society where you could just repress it and armor it up and pretend like everything's okay. That's going away. Those days are going away. We have to learn how to shed that armor and start being real with each other. We need to move away from a society where the almighty dollar matters and the image and who we are showing ourselves to be. All of that's being stripped away from us. And now we need to show who we really are and start creating a culture of caring, a culture of authenticity, a culture of heart connection. And that's how we're going to heal this rift between the polarity. And that's what we need to do in order to create a better world. So if you want a better world, it's not just going to be given to you. No president, no president's going to save us. You have to work hard to step into your power. You have to work hard to be who you are. And we can all support each other in that process. That's what's happening this year. That's what's happening. I mean, we got blown away last year. This year, it's like, no one's going to hand us our freedom. No one's going to hand us love. No one's going to hand us pleasure. You've got to learn how to claim it for yourself. And I can show you how. So check out those links. Share this video. Comment if you feel inclined, if it doesn't feel too vulnerable for you, because this is a very vulnerable subject. And I'll see you on the inside. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.